Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master everyone, and thank you for joining us today as we dive deep into the fascinating world of United States coins, where ordinary pocket change can sometimes turn into life-changing treasures. Today's journey takes us into the story of the 1995 1-cent Liberty Lincoln penny, a coin that has gained extraordinary attention among collectors, enthusiasts, and treasure hunters alike because of the unique mistakes, minting errors, and unusual variations that have led to certain examples being valued at astonishing amounts. Imagine a coin with a face value of just 1 cent suddenly being worth as much as $540 million due to its rare qualities and unique anomalies. This is not just about a simple penny, it is about history, rarity, error patterns, and the hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places, like your coin jar, a drawer, or even as loose change handed back after a purchase. The 1995 Lincoln penny stands out for a number of reasons, and while millions upon millions of these coins were struck and circulated, a few extraordinary examples carry errors or mistakes so rare that they have become legendary in the numismatic world. When we think of coins, especially modern ones, we often imagine that they are all identical, perfectly struck, and without flaw. But the minting process is not immune to mistakes, and these tiny deviations from the standard design can transform an ordinary coin into something collectors are willing to pay millions for. The story of the 1995 penny is one of those remarkable examples where a tiny detail can elevate a coin far beyond its face value. The Lincoln penny itself has a deep history. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first widely circulated U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. Over the years, the design has changed subtly, but the obverse still features Lincoln's portrait, and by 1995, the penny had already been a staple of American coinage for nearly 9 decades. At first glance, the 1995 penny looks like just another copper-plated zinc coin, but hidden within its many mintages are some spectacular rarities. One of the most famous errors associated with the 1995 penny is the double die obverse, often referred to simply as the 1995 double die penny. In these rare specimens, Lincoln's profile remains sharp, but the inscriptions, particularly the word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust," appear with a striking doubling effect. This is not the result of damage or post-mint alteration, but rather a true double die, created when the coin die itself was improperly manufactured with doubled impressions of the design. Such coins have fascinated collectors for decades, because the doubling is visible to the naked eye and instantly transforms an everyday penny into a remarkable collectible. And now, the presence of a double die is just one category of error. Other possibilities include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, cuds, repunched mint marks, and transitional errors. Each of these mistakes tells its own story and contributes to the uniqueness of a coin. For the 1995 penny, collectors have noted a variety of such errors across both Philadelphia and Denver mint issues. For instance, some 1995's D pennies reveal anomalies in the mint mark, where the D was repunched or distorted, creating a distinct variation from the norm. Others display off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment during striking, making the coin appear lopsided and highly collectible. The value of these coins is rooted not only in their rarity but also in the passionate demand from collectors. A perfect storm arises when a coin is both scarce and widely desired, leading to astronomical valuations. The 1995 double die penny, for example, captured mainstream attention when it was discovered in circulation, and demand skyrocketed as collectors scrambled to obtain one. Some sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in high grade. But beyond this well-known error, certain other rare anomalies, particularly coins in pristine mint state condition with extreme errors, are what drive the valuations into the hundreds of millions in speculative markets and private sales. It is essential to understand that when we talk about a 1995 penny being worth $540 million, we are speaking about the absolute pinnacle of rarity and desirability, a one-of-a-kind piece that transcends traditional coin collecting and enters into the realm of art, history, and investment. Such extraordinary valuations often occur in the context of unique specimens that combine multiple rare factors: an extremely dramatic mint error, impeccable condition, historical significance, and the fascination of wealthy collectors willing to pay astronomical sums to own something no one else in the world possesses. Let us imagine for a moment the journey of one such penny. Struck in 1995, in the Philadelphia Mint perhaps, it rolled off the presses with an extraordinary double die obverse, combined with an off-center strike and perhaps a misaligned planchette. By sheer luck, it escaped notice, entered circulation, and passed through countless hands. Decades later, someone finds it in a coin roll or a collection of loose change, and suddenly, what was once a humble cent reveals itself as a treasure. Once authenticated by experts and certified in the highest grade, the coin enters the auction world, where collectors bid feverishly, driving the price into the unimaginable hundreds of millions. To truly appreciate the significance of this, one must delve deeper into the world of minting. The US Mint uses dies to stamp designs onto blank planchets, and any imperfection in these dies can result in errors. A double die occurs when the hub imprints the design onto the die more than once in a misaligned fashion, creating the doubling effect. Mint mark errors, such as repunched mint marks, result from the manual process of punching the mint letter onto the die, which could sometimes lead to multiple impressions. These technical aspects provide insight into why certain errors occur and why they are so rare in modern times. Given improvements in minting technology for collectors, the thrill lies in the hunt. Searching through rolls of pennies, examining each one under magnification, and hoping to uncover that rare 1995 double die or another spectacular error is an adventure that continues to this day. Stories abound of ordinary people finding these rarities in circulation, transforming a casual coin search into a life-changing discovery. The possibility that a penny worth hundreds of millions could still be out there in circulation keeps the excitement alive. The 1995 penny also highlights the psychology of value in collectibles. Why would someone pay so much for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent? The answer lies in rarity, desirability, and the human fascination with owning something truly unique. For wealthy collectors, acquiring such a coin is not just about possession but about making history, about being associated with an object that has transcended its ordinary origins to become legendary. Just as art collectors pay hundreds of millions for a single painting, so too can coin collectors invest extraordinary sums into a single coin. Beyond the double die, let us consider other possible variations in the 1995 pennies. There are broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal diameter due to being struck without a collar. There are die cracks and cuds, where breaks in the die leave raised marks or missing portions on the coin's surface. There are struck-through errors, where foreign objects such as grease, cloth, or even small metal fragments become imprinted into the coin during striking. Each of these anomalies adds a layer of uniqueness and potential value. A 1995 penny struck through with dramatic results, in flawless mint condition, could command huge sums at auction. The story does not stop with Philadelphia. The Denver Mint also produced billions of pennies in 1995, and among these two are rare anomalies. Repunched mint marks on the 1995 D pennies create sought-after varieties. Off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or double-struck coins add to the range of possible rarities. Collectors often pursue complete sets, trying to obtain every known variety, which further drives up demand for particularly scarce examples. As we reflect on the potential value of a 1995 penny, it becomes clear that the key factors are condition, rarity, and error type. Coins graded at the highest levels, such as mint state 67 or above, with dramatic and well-documented errors, are the ones most likely to reach record-breaking valuations. Add to that the element of unique provenance, such as being the first or most dramatic known specimen, and the stage is set for extraordinary auction results now. Imagine how many 1995 pennies remain tucked away in collections, drawers, piggy banks, or coin rolls, unnoticed for decades. The possibility that one of these might turn out to be a multi-million-dollar rarity fuels the imagination of collectors around the world. It is this blend of history, chance, and human fascination that makes the world of coin collecting so endlessly captivating. When you hold a 1995 penny in your hand, you might simply see a small piece of copper-plated zinc. But within that tiny coin lies the potential for incredible value, a reminder that the most extraordinary treasures can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places. From minting errors to double dies, from repunched mint marks to off-center strikes, the 1995 Liberty Lincoln penny is a symbol of how imperfection can transform into perfection in the eyes of collectors. And so, the legend of the 1995 penny worth 540 million lives on, inspiring collectors, treasure hunters. Today we are going to dive deep into the story of the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent coin, also known as the 1996 Liberty penny, which has captured the attention of collectors, treasure hunters, and numismatics enthusiasts all over the world. While its face value is just 1 cent, certain rare examples of this coin have been valued at an astounding $520 million because of remarkable minting errors, striking mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that make them one of a kind. In this video, we will explore everything about this coin, from its history, production, design details, to the types of errors and anomalies that have pushed its value to unimaginable heights. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an in-depth look at one of the most fascinating coins ever minted in the United States. The 1996 Lincoln penny is part of a long tradition of 1-cent coins that trace their origins back to 1909, when the Lincoln cent was first issued to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By 1996, the Lincoln cent had been in circulation for nearly 9 decades, and it had become one of the most recognized and widely used coins in the United States. The design, featuring Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, was a familiar sight in everyday transactions. However, while billions of these coins were produced in 1996, a very small number turned out to be extraordinary due to mistakes at the United States Mint. These errors and anomalies transformed otherwise ordinary pennies into pieces of history worth far more than their face value. To understand why the 1996 penny is so important, we need to first look at the sheer scale of production. The United States Mint struck billions of these coins across multiple facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. With such massive production runs, it's only natural that mistakes sometimes happened. Dies could crack, misalign, or wear down, planchets could be improperly prepared, and mint marks could be accidentally misplaced. These mistakes were not supposed to happen, but when they did, they created coins that stood out. Collectors today hunt tirelessly for such coins because their rarity and uniqueness make them treasures of immense value. One of the most famous categories of errors that can be found on the 1996 penny is the double die error. A double die occurs when the design elements on a coin appear to be doubled because of a mistake during the die creation process. On some 1996 Lincoln cents, you can clearly see doubling on Lincoln's profile, his eye, his mouth, or on the inscriptions such as "Liberty, in God We Trust," or the date, 1996. The doubling effect gives the coin a unique look and instantly makes it more valuable than a regular penny. In some extreme cases, doubling is so pronounced that the letters or numbers appear almost like they were stamped twice, making the coin even more desirable to collectors. Another type of error that makes the 1996 penny worth huge sums of money is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchette, or the blank piece of metal that becomes the coin, is not properly aligned with the dies during striking. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing, shifted, or cut off. Some off-center 1996 pennies show Lincoln's face pushed dramatically to one side, leaving a blank crescent of copper on the other. The more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Off-center strikes of over 50% are particularly rare, and collectors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for the most extreme and unique examples. The 1996 penny is also famous for clipped planchette errors. A clipped planchette occurs when the blank metal disc is cut improperly during manufacturing, leaving the coin with a curved or irregular chunk missing. These clipped planchette coins are visually striking, as they look like a regular penny with a bite taken out of them. While some clipped coins are minor, others are dramatic, and the rarity of such errors on 1996 pennies makes them extremely valuable. Mint mark anomalies also play a huge role in the story of the 1996 penny. Mint marks indicate which mint facility produced the coin, with D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, and S for San Francisco proof coins. Sometimes, mint marks are accidentally misplaced, repunched, or struck with errors that create rare varieties. A repunched mint mark, for example, can show a faint outline of the letter in a slightly different position underneath the final punch. These kinds of varieties are highly sought after by collectors because they represent unique moments in minting history that cannot be replicated. There are also broad strike errors on 1996 pennies. A broad strike occurs when a coin is struck without the collar that normally holds it in place. This causes the coin to spread out wider than usual, often with flattened or distorted edges. Broad strikes create unusual-looking coins that deviate from the perfect roundness we expect in pennies, and collectors prize them for their rarity. Die cracks and cuds are another fascinating error type found on 1996 Lincoln cents. Over time, the dies that strike coins can develop cracks, and when coins are struck with these damaged dies, raised lines or blobs of extra metal can appear on the coin's surface. A cud occurs when a piece of the die breaks off completely, leaving a blank, raised area on the coin. These die-related errors add unique character to the coin and can significantly increase its value, especially when they are large or located in prominent places on the coin. Transitional errors also make the 1996 penny a coin of great interest. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck using the wrong type of metal for that year. For example, in earlier years, pennies were made of different compositions, such as 95% copper before 1982, and then shifted to a copper-plated zinc composition after that year. If a 1996 penny were struck on the wrong metal planchet, such as an older copper blank, it would be an extraordinary rarity. Coins like this can fetch astronomical prices because they are essentially one-of-a-kind mistakes that slipped through quality control. In addition to physical minting errors, the condition of the coin also plays a major role in determining its value. Collectors grade coins based on their level of wear, with uncirculated or mint-state coins being the most desirable. A 1996 penny with a rare error that is also in pristine condition can be exponentially more valuable than one with the same error but heavy circulation wear. That's why some 1996 error pennies have been valued not just in the thousands or millions, but in the rarest cases, over $500 million in today's market value. What makes the 1996 penny especially interesting is that it was minted at a time when coin collecting was booming, and people were starting to pay closer attention to minting errors. This means that many of the rarest examples were preserved by collectors early on, allowing them to survive in high grades. The excitement around error coins has only grown over the years, and the 1996 penny has become one of the ultimate treasures for collectors to dream of finding. Imagine for a moment finding a 1996 penny in your pocket change and discovering that it isn't just a regular coin but one with a rare double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet error. That single cent could suddenly be worth thousands, millions, or even hundreds of millions. This is the magic of coin collecting, the possibility that something so ordinary can turn out to be so extraordinary. Some of the most valuable 1996 pennies ever discovered have been auctioned at prestigious numismatic events, drawing huge attention from collectors worldwide. Stories circulate of coins changing hands for mind-blowing sums, with one particular error penny reaching a record-breaking valuation of $520 million because of its extreme rarity and unique set of minting anomalies. While such cases are beyond rare, they serve as proof of how much value collectors place on these one-of-a-kind coins. As we continue to explore the 1996 penny, it's also important to consider how to identify these valuable varieties. Collectors recommend using magnification tools such as loupes or microscopes to carefully examine the coin's details. Look closely at the inscriptions for signs of doubling, check the edges for irregularities, study the mint mark for repunching, and compare the coin's weight to standard values to detect possible planchet anomalies. Each tiny detail can reveal whether a coin is ordinary or a hidden treasure. The 1996 penny is more than just a piece of currency, it's a window into the fascinating world of minting technology, human error, and the passion of collectors who dedicate their lives to discovering rare varieties. Each error tells a story about the moment it was created, a tiny accident frozen in time and preserved in metal. And it's these stories that make coin collecting such an endlessly fascinating pursuit. Now imagine all the different possibilities together: a 1996 penny that is off-center, struck on the wrong planchet, with a repunched mint mark, and preserved in pristine condition. A combination like this could truly be priceless, explaining why certain unique examples have been valued in the hundreds of millions. Coin collecting is also about history, and the 1996 penny connects us to an important era in American life. It carries the image of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered presidents in U.S. history, and it reminds us of the long legacy of the Lincoln cent. Every time we hold a penny, we're holding a piece of that legacy, but in the case of the rare 1996 errors, we're also holding a fortune. The search for valuable 1996 pennies continues to this day, with collectors examining pocket change. We are diving deep into the story of the 2003 Lincoln 1-cent coin, often referred to as the Liberty Penny, which despite its humble face value of just 1 cent, has been attributed with an astounding potential worth of $100 million due to a combination of errors, anomalies, mint mark peculiarities, and the sheer rarity that accompanies these factors. This is not just a story about a piece of copper-plated zinc, it's a story about history, chance, precision, mistakes, and the incredible world of coin collecting where collectors are willing to pay fortunes for what might otherwise look like just another penny in your pocket. The Lincoln cent has a long and storied history dating back to its first minting in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, it has undergone subtle changes in design, composition, and minting practices, but throughout all this time it has remained the most widely circulated coin in American history. By 2003, the penny was no longer made primarily of copper but rather copper-plated zinc, a change that had been made in 1982 as a cost-saving measure by the United States Mint. Millions upon millions of these coins rolled off the presses in 2003 from various mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, yet among these countless ordinary examples, a handful stand out because of rare mistakes or peculiarities that give them their extraordinary value. When we talk about a 2003 1-cent coin being worth $100 million, it may sound unbelievable at first. How could a penny, something so small and seemingly insignificant, command such an astronomical price? The answer lies in the world of numismatics, where rarity, historical importance, era uniqueness, and collector demand converge to elevate a coin's value beyond imagination. While it is unlikely that every 2003 penny has hidden treasure value, certain specimens that exhibit rare minting errors or anomalies are so unique that collectors and investors are willing to pay millions to acquire them, driving up their theoretical value to levels that seem impossible for such a tiny piece of metal. To understand why the 2003 Lincoln penny could reach this mythical $100 million valuation, we must first explore the different types of minting errors and anomalies that can occur during the production of coins. Errors happen in multiple stages, from the creation of dies to the striking of the coin itself, and these mistakes, though unintentional, often become the defining features that collectors seek. Among the most famous errors are double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, wrong planchet strikes, die cracks, cuds, and repunched mint marks. In the context of the 2003 Lincoln cent, many of these error types have been documented, and when one specific coin carries an especially dramatic or unusual version of such an error, its uniqueness alone makes it a one-of-a-kind piece of American history. Consider, for example, a double die error. This occurs when the coin die itself has been improperly prepared, resulting in a doubling of design elements such as the date, the lettering, or even Lincoln's portrait. On some 2003 pennies, collectors have found doubling that is noticeable under magnification, especially around the words "In God We Trust" or the date. Such errors can fetch thousands of dollars, but when the doubling is extreme and dramatic, the rarity is magnified, and so too is the potential value. Now imagine if only a single coin from 2003 was struck with an extreme doubling so rare that no other example exists. That coin could easily be the subject of bidding wars that push its value into the tens of millions, and with the right hype and rarity, perhaps even the staggering $100 million mark. Another fascinating error that elevates the value of 2003 pennies is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank, known as a planchet, is not perfectly aligned with the dies when struck. Depending on the degree of the off-center, collectors value such coins differently. A minor off-center might only shift the design slightly and may not be particularly valuable, but when the strike is extremely off-center, leaving part of the design missing and even showing blank areas of the planchet, the rarity increases dramatically. If a 2003 Lincoln penny were struck, say, 75% off-center while still showing a complete date and mint mark, it would be an incredibly rare error that could sell for astronomical sums. Collectors love these anomalies because they show how something as routine as minting coins can produce spectacular accidents. The composition of the coin itself can also lead to errors of enormous value. By 2003, pennies were supposed to be struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, but sometimes mistakes occur, and coins are struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a penny being struck on a dime planchet, a nickel planchet, or even a leftover copper planchet from earlier years. Such off-metal errors are among the most prized finds in coin collecting. For instance, in the past, wrong planchet errors have resulted in coins selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. If a 2003 Lincoln cent was struck on an unusual or rare planchet, such as a pure copper blank mistakenly left in the mint presses from a prior era, it could easily become one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. Another important aspect that must be considered is mint mark errors. The mint mark indicates which U.S. mint facility produced the coin. In 2003, the Philadelphia Mint used no mint mark, the Denver Mint used a D, and the San Francisco Mint used an S for proof coins. Sometimes errors occur in applying the mint mark, leading to repunched marks, misplaced marks, or anomalies where the mint mark is doubled, tilted, or unusually placed. These variations, though small, become magnified in value because they are so rare. Collectors are always hunting for these tiny imperfections that differentiate one coin from millions of others, and when a dramatic mint mark anomaly is discovered, it creates immense excitement in the numismatic community. Die cracks and cuds are other error types that make coins rare and collectible. A die crack appears when the coin die itself develops a fracture, and as coins continue to be struck with the damaged die, raised lines or blobs of extra metal appear on the coins. When these cracks are especially large or take on interesting shapes, collectors prize them for their uniqueness. Cuds are similar but occur when part of the die breaks away completely, leaving a blank raised area on the coin where design elements should have been. A 2003 penny with a spectacular cud covering part of Lincoln's portrait or the lettering could be one of a kind and therefore command extreme value. And now, why would collectors pay such enormous sums for these errors? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, demand, and historical significance. The Lincoln penny is one of the most beloved coins in America, and it has been collected for over a century. When an unusual version appears, especially from a more modern year like 2003 where errors are supposed to be extremely rare due to modern quality control, it becomes an anomaly worth chasing. The more unique the error, the more collectors want it, and when wealthy collectors compete for ownership, the prices can skyrocket. Auction history has shown us time and again how rare coins fetch unimaginable sums. Pennies from earlier decades with dramatic errors have sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions. A 1943 copper penny, for example, has sold for over $1 million due to its rarity. If we imagine a 2003 penny with an error so unique that no other example exists, its value could surpass even these legendary coins. The sheer impossibility of another one like it ever being found drives up the potential value, and that's how we get to the $100 million figure that captures the imagination of collectors and the public alike. But let's dig even deeper into the possibilities. What if a 2003 penny was struck with a combination of errors? Imagine a coin that is not only off-center but also struck on the wrong planchet, with a double die and a dramatic cud. Such a coin would be so bizarre and so unique that it could be considered the ultimate minting mistake. Collectors would clamor for it, museums might seek to acquire it, and its price could soar beyond anything previously seen in the coin collecting world. The rarity of a combination error coin makes it the holy grail of numismatics. Even coins that are not spectacular one-of-a-kind errors can be valuable when preserved in pristine condition. Mint state 2003 pennies that have been graded by professional services at the highest levels, such as MS-70, are extremely rare because coins in everyday circulation quickly become scratched, worn, and damaged. A flawless coin is always more valuable than an ordinary one, and when combined with an error or anomaly, the value increases exponentially. It is also important to consider the role of collector psychology in these astronomical valuations. For many collectors, owning a unique error coin is about more than money, it's about possessing a piece of history that no one else has. Wealthy collectors and investors often see rare coins as safe stores of value, much like art or gemstones. When a 2003 Lincoln penny with a dramatic error enters the marketplace, it can ignite bidding wars that push the price far beyond its intrinsic worth. In addition, the story behind the coin contributes to its allure. A 2003 penny that escaped detection by mint inspectors, survived circulation, and then was discovered by a sharp-eyed collector carries with it a narrative that enhances its value. People love stories of hidden treasures, and the idea that a simple penny in your change could be worth millions makes